Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. And we're joined now by the new head coach of the football Giants, which is music to Giant fans from coast to coast. John Harbaugh joins us now. Coach, welcome. How are you?
Hey, Mike, I'm doing great. Great to be with you.
Nice to see you there. Nice to see you in place. You know, one of the things that I hear from coaches, John, is how hard it is to build a staff now, that it's the most impossible thing in this era to get a good staff when you make a move. How hard was it to put a staff together?
It was unbelievably hard. I mean, like waking up at 1:32 in the morning and not being able to go back to sleep for fear that you're not going to be able to get a good staff or get a guy or something's happening, and then going into the office and starting to make calls. I have guys that got texts at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, are you coming? Can we get you? Would you be interested? It's crazy right now. There's a lot of rules. There's a lot of different, people. You can get blocked for guys. You think you have a chance for a guy. Sometimes you think you're going to get a couple, 2 or 3 guys, and they get head coaching jobs. Did that happen to us this year? I think it did. With Todd Monken, and that threw a monkey wrench in what we were trying to do. So you're happy for guys like Todd in that case, but you're kind of mad for yourself. So it's a tough challenge.
You went for guys who have head coaching experience. You went with guys with familiarity. You have 11 guys coming who you've coached before. I've learned through the years, especially from coaches I've been around, you don't want to have to coach the coaches. How much is the familiarity and the experience that you have on this staff going to help you?
That's a great point, Mike. That's exactly what I was thinking and kind of aiming for. We have some young guys, but we have some young guys with experience or guys that I know personally, and I've seen them coach, I've seen them work. We want to hit the ground running. I mean, our goal is as soon as when those players come back, man, they see the program, it's in place, and we're rolling. We're not trying to learn each other or figure each other out. We're going to be practicing our game planning in the off season for at least our division games and make sure that we've got everything ironed out. I wanted a bunch of coaches that know what they're doing and also kind of know how we're going to operate, know what the value system's going to be, what the expectations are going to be, just how things are going to work.
How hard is it going to be for you to get a grasp on your personnel? Will you have to go through a training camp before you really get a grasp, or can you do that with film and with what you'll do in the spring, even in the limited things you have now? And it's so hard to coach now because you never get to put your hands on the players anymore. But with that being the case, can you get a feel for your personnel before the end of training camp?
Yeah, you get a feel for it, but it's degrees, right? I mean, you're not going to know everything until really the end of the season. So you're going to be getting a grasp and a feel for the players. Like I was still getting a grasp and a feel for our players in Baltimore at 18 years. I mean, there's always things to learn about guys, but we're always coaching the guys. We never give up on players. We're coaching every player in the roster from the last player to the first player every single day, just trying to improve and help them be the best they can be. All we're thinking about is the football team every single second of every day, including today. So we're going to know a lot more tomorrow than we know today. We're going to know a lot more at the end of OTAs than we do at the beginning of OTAs. We'll know a lot more going into the first game, but the first game we're going to learn a lot about our guys. And so it's just an ongoing process.
How about fitting the system to the players and the marriage of the system to the players? Is it going to be more by what you see from the talent you have and with the guys you can bring in here this first year, or do you want to kind of impose a system on these guys?
Well, it's twofold. There's principles and there's methods. So a system in the sense of scheme, in terms of like the way we teach techniques, those kind of things. That's method, okay?
Right.
That's changeable. That's for the players. Like we want to build an offense around Jackson Dart. That's where it starts. And then from there, the rest of the players. Same thing with the defense. We have a defensive belief system. We have a structure. We have a way of calling defenses. But the defenses we call, the way we teach them, it's going to be based on the guys. We got a front, okay? We're going to start with our front. It starts up front on both sides. But defensive front is going to be where we begin and we work from there. But as far as the way we play the game, Mike, our effort, our attitude, our physicality, our discipline, our football intelligence, all those things are things that you just don't compromise. Those things are never going to change. Those are self-evident football truths that have been around even before Bo and Woody that you were talking about before. It goes all the way back to the beginning. Those are things that are always going to be required for winning football teams.
I've always thought especially in the modern era of the NFL. It's owner, coach, quarterback. That's the axis that wins. Jackson Dart, obviously, is a big reason why you're here. His attractiveness. What do you see right now before you lay your hands on him? What do you see from Jackson Dart?
Well, I watched a lot of tape, and I see talent. First of all, he can throw it. He can throw it from different platforms. He's got touch. He can throw it deep. He can put it in tight windows. All those different kind of things. He's mobile. He runs around. He's tough. He's courageous. You certainly see that. But I also see the intangibles. I see a guy who really wants to be great, wants to work at it, wants to show up, wants to study tape on his own. He's interested in everything we're doing. He's interested in the draft, free agency, the roster. It's fun being around him. The times I've been around him, it's been a blast being around him because I just think he's all in. And that's what don't we want to work with people who are all in for the
Yes.
common cause? And that's what he's all about.
You were in one place a very long time, especially with a job that usually there's great movement, and you were in one place and had a tremendous amount of success. Uh, with entrenched success, a lot of times doesn't come complacency, but you know how to do things. You've earned it. You're respected. Everything's good. It's comfortable. How about starting with a new place where they haven't had now? It's a proud franchise, but they've been down for a long time. They need accountability. They need a lot of changes. And how about starting with a new franchise after all these years where you were in one place for so long?
Yeah, to me, it's just exciting. It's about opportunity. All the things that you've learned, you kind of really know what you believe in. You know what's important. You know what it looks like. You know what you want to see, and you have an opportunity to go in and kind of like clean canvas. Start painting that picture all over again. We're not touching the picture up. We're not changing it. We're not, adjusting it. We're painting it. From the beginning, from the ground up, from the background all the way to the whole thing. So I'm excited about it. We've had a lot of fun. So many people in this building. I tell you, Mike, this is a great building. I mean, this is a great building. Start with the owner. You mentioned the access starts with the owner. This is great ownership. The Maras and the Tishes. John Mara, who's been leading the way all these years, he's a superstar, and all the way through the building, people that want to help. Even your buddy Pat Hanlon over here, your favorite guy, he's incredible at what he does. But so we want to change something, fix something, adjust something, grow something. Everybody just wants to know, you want to run through that brick wall, they're running through brick walls in the building. So that's what gives me a lot of hope because we're gonna paint a picture that you're gonna see on that TV screen, or you're gonna see in that field, or you're gonna see in that tape review when you watch it. That's gonna be the artwork that we're gonna try to create, and that's gonna be what we're gonna be judged by. That's gonna be our work of art. That's gonna be what we're trying to build. So we got a lot of great people here to do it.
John, when you started, it's a different league now. It's a whole different way of doing business now. They say the players are different, but I think what they did was they changed the system. The Players Association has so many rules. The league has so many rules. There's so many things you can't do now. You can't get on the field like you used to. Training camp is a day camp now. It's not. I used to love to go to training camp. I used to love to go for a week. I used to go with Parcells. I used to love it. And the players, you knew they hated it. And you 300-pound guys on getting IVs between two a days and 100 degrees, and there's none of that anymore. How do you build a team and prepare a team, especially a new team, when you're not allowed to do that stuff anymore?
Such a great question. I mean, it used to be back in the day. I mean, I can remember even when I was in Philadelphia, guys would be putting wet pads on in the afternoon practice.
Yeah.
The pads were still soaked with sweat from the morning practice.
Running game in the morning, 7-on-7 in the afternoon, two a days. I mean, and you could tell the guys dreaded it. I mean, but it got them ready for the season. How do you get them ready now?
Well, you got to get them ready though, right? Because it's still the same game. In a lot of ways, it's even a faster game. It's even a more physical game. I mean, these guys are big. They're bigger. They're faster. They're quicker. Believe it or not, they really are. I mean, you can't really compare eras, but I stand on that sideline sometime, Mike, man. It's like, whoa, this is, you better get back fast out of the way or you're going to get hurt just standing on the sideline. So you respect, I think these are the modern day athletic warriors, so to speak. They're the gladiators. They go in the arena. We have respect for our players. We respect the men who play this game. And it's our obligation and responsibility to respect them in the game enough to make sure they're ready to play the game the right way, to stay healthy in a healthy way, and to compete and to win. So you got to figure it out, and we do. We're going to work hard. You You can't rest your way into being tough and strong and callous and physical and all those things. You got to work at it. So like Bill Parcells did, or Tom Coughlin did, or all the great coaches, it starts with work ethic, but we got to be smart in the way we work too. You've got to build your way into those volumes. You got to work your way into that content, and you got to tackle, man. You got to find a way to teach guys to tackle because it's a blocking and tackling game. So it's got to be based around that, and just try to figure out a way to get your guys ready to play. Not so much within the rules, Mike, because I think the rules are actually good. They've actually created an environment that should bring us into the season healthier, and even stronger than we would have been if we'd have overdone it. So try to make the most of our opportunities.
John, we're talking about John Harbaugh, of course, the new Giant head coach, proven winner who comes here now to change the fortunes of this very proud franchise. John, do you challenge players the same way as you did 15, 18 years ago? Do you discipline them the same way, or have your methods changed?
I would say we discipline them, but we discipline them still the same. Is it the same way exactly? I don't know. Sometimes not. Probably better now, I hope, Mike. 15 years ago, God, if you're not better 15 years later, then what have you been doing for the last 15 years? I hope I'm better 15 days from now than I am right now.
But will they accept what they used to get, whether it was screaming or discipline or, my way or the highway? Everyone thinks the player is a different player now. Is he a different player now?
I think the players are more sophisticated now. I don't think my way or the highway, I don't think it was really ever that great. It probably was used more back then. I mean, I remember when I played, you never questioned a coach. I got my face mask grabbed. You got jerked around by the face mask, face to face. You got yelled at. But, we're not doing that anymore. And I actually, honestly, I think it's better that we're not doing that anymore. You better be able to tell the player why you're doing something. Why are we practicing this hard? Why are we doing this drill? Why did we get this much rest between our sprints? Whatever the case may be, explain it to them, show it to them. Then they're going to buy it and believe it and do it. That's what we try to do. These guys, I love this generation. My daughter's 24. All right. I've gotten to know her friends, the people she brings around, her boyfriend, all these different kind of people. This generation is a great generation. These are smart people. They are dedicated. They're determined. They want to do well. They want to do the right thing. They've got great moral judgment. I look back on us, Mike, man. I don't know, man. Some of the things we did. Oh my God! I don't know why how we're still walking around yet.
I don't know if we want to look back on us, to be honest with you. Yeah.
These special. So I look at the players the same way. I think this generation is a great generation, and I think they're tough and determined, and they want to do well.
You talk about bringing players to this franchise, this very proud franchise. Now, recruiting to New York and to the metropolitan area. First of all, I'm sure you already had your head full of assistant coaches who were screaming how much real estate costs in the New Jersey and metropolitan area and how they can't find a good school district, because I know they go through that all the time there because the house costs twice as much. And if they Google it, their wives Google it, and they need a school district, and school districts, the houses are a fortune. And it's a big problem here. How about recruiting players to an area that some people fear, as far as it's too big, it's too expensive, the whole thing? Do you have your pitch ready for that?
Yeah, I better. I probably don't. I know what I know about the skyline's different. I look at the skyline; it looks a little different in Baltimore. I noticed that it's different than anywhere. So I don't know. I mean, we're trying to recruit guys that love football. I mean, if you love football and you want to do football every second of every day when you walk in that building, and you want to think about it driving home and driving back, football and family, you got to be about your family. You got something with your family, that's more important. Football, that's more important than anything else. Everything else doesn't matter. If you're that guy, come to New York. Come to the Giants. We want you. If you're not that guy, go play for somebody else, because we're going to be about football. That's what we're going to be doing here. At this facility right here, the Quest facility, we'll be doing football all day. So that's the kind of guys I want.
What was your thought of the Giants? When you thought of the Giants, you're a football guy, you're from a football family, your father was a great football coach, your brother's a great football coach. It's what you know. You're from the cradle. You have a bronze statue there. I mean, the whole thing, okay? So football's been your life. When you think of the football Giants, what came to mind for you before you came here?
Well, there's a picture in the 1950s that I had we're a football family, so we had all the football history books, and I read them all. Back then, those books, and they had the pictures in them. And there's a picture of, I think it's Y.A.
Y.A.
Tittle,
Tittle, the great
right?
picture. Yep, yep,
Yeah, with the blood
yep,
coming down his
yep,
head right
against the
there.
Bears. Yep,
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I
yeah,
just that
yeah,
picture is in my mind.
yeah.
That's the New York Giants when I'm a kid. That's the New York Football Giants. So yeah, it's football. We're about football. Their nickname is football. Their nickname is the Football Giants. That's what makes me excited. One of the things that makes me excited to be here for
One thing I'll
sure.
tell you, John, and I'm sure you've heard it already, their fan base is as good as any fan base in any sport, anytime, they have a great, loyal fan base, an incredible, and they've done a lot of things wrong to them in the last 10 years, which I'm not gonna get into, but they have an incredible loyal fan base. They really do.
I'm excited, man. I've seen them out and about just a little bit here and there when we've gotten out, and they're fired up, man. A lot of good pictures, a lot of cheering and hugs, and I mean, we want to make them proud. I'm just being honest. We want to make them proud. We want them to walk out of that stadium proud. This is the way my team plays. This is what my team stands for. This is what the Giants are about. This is who they are, and I want our players to make them proud off the field too. I want them to make them proud in the way they conduct themselves and carry themselves in a way that they can, talk to their kids, Mike, and say, "Hey, look at this, look at these guys for the Giants. Look what they stand for. Look at their family men. They care about their kids. They care about their family. They care about you. They're people of faith. This is the type of thing that I want our fans to be proud of, and you got to win games to make it count. So let's win as many as we can.
A couple quickies. Number 1, you've had great safeties. Ed Reed was one of my all-time favorite players, one of the great players at the position ever. Hamilton's been a great player. There's a kid in the draft, Caleb Downs, who, is gonna be a very interesting question for you, and I know you like having that special star safety that you can use in a lot of different ways. How about, in that secondary, a guy like Caleb Downs?
Big fan, big fan. You didn't mention Brian Dawkins. Had a chance to coach
Yes,
Brian
another
Dawkins in
great one too. Yeah,
Philadelphia, too.
absolutely, yes.
So yeah, we favor Hall of Fame safeties. So if we have a chance to draft a potential future Hall of Fame safety in Caleb Downs, that would be just fine with me. We'll take the best player. When you draft that high, you take the best player. It's not a need pick. It's the best player pick because you're going for the guy that's going to be that kind of a player. You're talking about a guy that you would like to see someday wearing a gold jacket if possible. That's what the goal is with that pick. So this would be the highest pick for me ever as a coach, as a head coach. I think the only pick this high as an assistant coach was Donovan McNabb with Andy in Andy's first year. So this is pretty exciting to have a pick this high. Yeah, that guy would be just fine with me. I'd take him in a second.
John, I've always thought, and this is a little off the beaten path, but I've always thought it was always weird that people looked away from special teams coaches. And I know the last year you moved to deep back with the Eagles before you became a head coach, but you were a special teams coach. Very few have ever been head coaches. Marv Levy, Ditka was an all-pro tight end, but he went and coached special teams for the Cowboys before he became the Bear coach. I always thought that they'd make good head coaches because they look at the whole roster. They think about who has to come to play, the guys who have to be the extra guys who fill out a roster. They look at the whole unit rather than just one unit, and they've been overlooked a lot. Do you think that's been a mistake by ownerships?
I do. Dick Vermeil was primarily a special teams
Yep.
coach in the NFL, and then he was a running back coach at
George Allen
UCLA.
a little bit too, but a lot of defense too, though. But George Allen
Bill
coached
Cowher.
the special
Bill
teams
Cowher
too,
was mostly
and
special teams.
Belichick a little bit too. Yeah,
Yeah. He's kind of a good coach.
yeah,
Is he a Hall of Fame coach? I
yeah,
think
just a little bit.
put
Yeah,
him in the Hall of Fame, maybe. I
yeah,
think that
yeah.
might
But he'll
be.
get in. Don't worry, he'll get in. Yeah.
So no, I do think so. I'll go for Jay Harbaugh. Let's make Jay Harbaugh the next special teams head coach in the National Football League or on Seattle. Look at the job he did. But there's been others. Rich Bisaccia. There's been so many guys. I mean, there's been so many guys. I could name all these guys that I coached against, had a chance to, admired over the years. Guys like Pete, the great Pete Rodriguez, the great Scott O'Brien, Brad Seeley. I mean, some Joe Avizano. I mean, there's so many. I mean, I can't even name them all. There's so many great coaches that would have been, I think, great head coaches in the NFL. So yeah, I'm on board. I'm on board, Mike.
How important, you mentioned Dart, and it sounded like in the recruiting of you coming, and obviously they had to recruit you. You could have gone anywhere you wanted. How important was ownership in this thing, as far as and your relationship with ownership?
It was critically important. It was probably more important than the quarterback. I mean, the owner, your partners with the owners in this thing, and I had a great partnership with Steve Bisciotti for 18 years. I mean, it was a great partnership, a brotherhood. We were together on everything,
Did you
and
talk a lot?
we talked all the time. Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked not every day, but we talked almost every day. And it's the same way here. John's in the office every day. Chris is in the office every day. Those guys are amazing. So yeah, that's like that was a must. I love the mayors. So like we go to the owners' meetings and I'd see the mayors. And I'd see John Mayer and I see him at competition meetings and talk to him and get to know him. I always call him Mr. Mayer, still call him Mr. Mayer. He says, "Call me John." I'm like, "Okay, Mr. Mayer, I'll try to remember that." But these he was just he's such a powerful, iconic, smart man in the NFL. And then,
He is.
but all the mayors. I mean, there's mayors everywhere. You know,
Yes, there's a lot of Maras. Yeah, yeah, a
they're
lot of
running
Maras.
around, and it was like this is a family. This is a family type of a deal. So, and then we had the first day, and they were all here for the press conference, which was right here in this building right here. It was packed. I couldn't believe it, and there was mayors and tissues everywhere, and Cokes everywhere, and it was just great to. It's a family owned team with the highest type of family type people, and I just loved being around them.
You know, you mentioned that because I think in what's going on right now, a lot of people are overlooking that there are a lot of Maras. There's Chris Mara, there's a lot of Maras, okay? There are more than a few Tishes, and everyone's centering on John, who I've known forever and I have great respect for and I have great affection for, who's going through a lot of stuff physically right now, which we all know. Okay. And then you have Tish, who's going through obviously a scandal he's got to deal with right now, which we don't know where it's going to end up. But there are other guys for you to deal with inside the ownership of both groups.
Yeah, there's definitely there's a lot of people to deal with, and even in Baltimore, there were extended people with Steve and the family and other people that you get to know that become part of you become part of that family. And in Philadelphia with the Lurys, I mean, love Jeff Lurie and his family. I mean, they were incredible. So to me, that's part of the job. I mean, it's the best part of the job. As a coach, you're the coach, and you're there to do a job, and you're there to do everything you can to make your ownership successful, to make your ownership happy, to make the franchise successful. That's your responsibility and your job, and you better be doing the best you can every day because it's what you're required to do. It's your obligation, but you also do it because you become friends. I mean, you become close, and the relationships you're in the trenches together, and you better be because it's hard enough. You better be together.
You know, your father, it sounded like, really was high on the Giants and high on their personnel. We heard a lot about that. We didn't hear much from Jim, although he wanted you, obviously, in this conference. What did Jim say when you said, "I'm going to coach the Giants"?
He said good. He was happy. He was good. He thought it was a really good job. He did.
It is.
He was.
It is.
He was even when we were kind of working things out. That Wednesday through Saturday. He basically texted me. When are you taking the job? When are you taking the job? You need to take the job. He felt like it was a great job too.
It's a long time since they've won, though, John. You know what? You're a sight for sore eyes with this franchise. I know there's great expectations, and there should be. I mean, your first year in Baltimore, you went to the AFC title game, so people are going to be very high on their hopes and their expectations. So. You got to roll up your sleeves. You got a lot of work to do because this team's been bad for a long time.
You do. You got to work, and you got to earn the right. I mean, you got to work hard to earn the right to play the game and play it the way it's supposed to be played on Sunday, and that's what we're going to do. And you do have to look at there has been a lot of challenges the last number of years.
Yes.
And you got to try to figure out why. I mean, you have to look at it through a hard, honest lens, and you got to say, okay, this is where we're at. This is where it's been, and can we try to figure out what the issues are? And it's hard to pin it down because it's never exactly one thing.
Can you tell me right now where you're at?
We're on our way. That's where we're at. We're on our way. The journey has begun. I mean, we're fighting through everything, and trying to be the best we can be, and we're just going to try to be great at everything. We're going to try to make every aspect of everything we do.
There is some talent. I mean, listen, there's some weak areas on this team, but there is some talent on this team.
There's a lot of talent on this team. There's a lot of players that want to be great. I mean, start with the players. If that's what we're talking about, the players care, and there's a lot of really great players in this team. And so we just got to get more, and we got to get better. And you go out and you got to learn how to play well together. You got to play great together, and you got to learn how to finish. You got to finish plays. You got to finish drives. You got to finish quarters, halves, and games. We've lost plenty of games in Baltimore in the fourth quarter, just like everybody else has. How do you do that? You got to be good enough to find a way to make plays in the fourth quarter, or to run people over, or to get to the quarterback, or to tip a ball, or to intercept a pass, or to make a play, throw a ball up in the end zone and make a catch. Those are the things that win in the National Football League. But you got to earn the right to be good enough to have a chance to make those plays. First of all, to be in the game in the fourth quarter, and secondly, to win the game in the fourth quarter. You got to fight for that right. You got to fight for that opportunity. And then you got to go make the plays. And that's coaches and players and organization and owners. It's fans. When we're at home, man, they need to be loud in that fourth quarter when their offense is on the field. It's everybody pulling together. So what's the difference? It's a lot of little things in the margins that you got to be great at across the board. So it's never one thing. It's everything, all the time, as good as you can be, as great as you can be, working as hard as you possibly can to not let anything fall through the cracks. And then when Sunday comes, you go play the game. You let
Well,
the chips fly.
listen, I could say, speaking for this city, and I know everyone feels this way. They're thrilled that you're here. It's a new era, and everyone is really looking forward to it. So, welcome and good luck.
Great to be with you, Mike. I've always
Thank you.
admired your work. Listen to you a lot. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it, John, very much. Good luck to you.
You too. See ya.
Okay. Bye. John Harbaugh, the new head coach of the football Giants, which is music to any Giant fans' ears. And again, just, listen, I didn't even, when we talked about it in the winter and I would get questions about a candidate, I just couldn't even come up with someone. I said, they need an experienced, proven winner who can hold them accountable, feet on the floor, eyes straight ahead, and let's start from scratch. I mentioned Harbaugh, but I didn't know if he was gonna wind up staying or what was gonna happen there. He could have won a championship this year. Who the heck knows? The bottom line is the fact that he was available to me is completely just like what happened with Andy Reid. And I expect the same kind of results. Now, I'm not telling you that he's gonna win 9 straight division titles or he's gonna get to as many Super Bowls because, Andy was fortunate enough to have or to find, because he found him, a great quarterback, a all-time quarterback, and some great talented players, Hall of Fame players. If the Giants can develop that kind of talent and bring that kind of talent in, and I'm already pushing for Caleb Downs, who I love and I think is perfect for Harbaugh. I know people are thinking, "Oh, you can't take him at 5." Yes, you can. Yes, you can. He's that good. Um, I think this guy, they couldn't have come up with a better choice anywhere, any place, anytime. If he doesn't win, I will be absolutely stunned, and I think he's gonna win quickly. I really do. We thank everybody from the Giants for making him available. I know he had to run to a meeting. Um, hey, if you're a Giant fan, you gotta be over the moon with this. You really do, okay? Because, hey, it's been a long time coming. And go back to Coughlin, and I was wrong. I admit it. I lived through every day with that. I lived through that with Tom. And Tom told me that last year. If I can win this year, if I can get over the top this year, he knew if he had a third straight losing season, he was going to lose his job because one owner had promised the other owner that they would get rid of him after the third year that he had third straight losing season. And I thought if he lost for the third straight year, they needed to make a change. I was dead wrong. They should have had a winning year that year. They got a lot of injuries late. They lost a lot of tight games. They lost that year. Tom had told me that if they could have gotten through that year, he really thought a new era of winning was coming, that he had the nucleus to do that. Instead, they went through a decade of disaster, of absolute futility, disappointment, disillusion, and just losing. Now that's over. They have the guy. Now, I'm telling you, those days are over. That's all there is to it. You could take it to the bank. Those days are over. We'll see you later.